Every once in a while a revolutionary idea appears that alters the fabric of our societies. The accompanying behaviors and technologies do not occur by chance. They are the aggregation of ancient trends and the inventiveness of millions. Language, agriculture, parliaments, the printing press, network computing, blockchains, and artificial intelligence all transformed our world forever, rearranging human societies with a vision for the future. Today, we are bringing forth such a vision, yeah. In a world in which our lives are increasingly digital and borderless, the bureaucratic institutions of the state have been left behind, incapable of providing a peaceful order. The Westphalian system that birthed the nation state is struggling to keep up with a multipolar, interconnected world in this paradigm shift. The supranational global elite is cannibalizing its citizens, and the fiat monetary system is collapsing in real time. We see this as the terminal phase of the Western project, a time of debt, slavery, war, displacement, manipulation, corruption, broken ecosystems, widespread surveillance, nihilist values, socialized impoverishment, and bipartisan tyranny across the world. We are sleepwalking into a series of interdependent catastrophes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Town Hall. If you're viewing from outside the IFT, we didn't see the last one 2 weeks ago because we had an internal one. We're carrying it back up, and we'll go over some of the things that happened over the past 4 weeks. But starting off, we have some shout-outs. JB is going to join us to give us some shout-outs on what people have been saying about other people within the IFT. Take it away. Maybe not. Seems like JB's frozen.
As always, I'm not going to read.
There you are.
Flag up some of the great work that's been going on through the org. Thank you to everyone that sent in a shout out. So firstly, shout out to Dario and Patrick for doing a great job on the status backend without causing a company-wide panic attack. Always a big fan of not having panic attacks. So great job, and that was from Igor. Thank you very much. And the next shout out was for the Nimbus team. This is from Yatzik and the IFT Council. It's a great work on the soon-to-be final release for the upcoming Ethereum mainnet hard fork. So well done, and thanks to all the hard work from the Nimbus team. Next up, just wanted to say a big thank you to Lou, who presented, I think, a couple of town halls ago, to Terry, everyone in the org, in finance, people, comms teams that are already working 6 months in advance, 5 months in advance, very hard on the planning phase to make sure that the PSF event and the all hands are a big success in March in Lisbon. So there's a lot of behind the scenes work going on there. So I wanted to say a big thank you to all of those folks. And that brings me to a final shout out for the security team, who were the first team to entirely book their team into the all hands, sort their travel, and let us know. And so this is a bit of a cheap shout out this week, but for everyone else, this is your reminder that you can book your travel now if you are a core contributor and wanting to come to the PSF event and the all hands, and then fill in the form on the Discord channel afterwards, just to let the people ops and the PSF team know that you're coming. So nice work, security team, for being the first team to get that done. There's a couple of other shout outs that didn't quite make it today, so I'm going to put those in the channel later on or early next week because people didn't give me the details. Please do share your shout outs in the future if you have someone you want to say thank you to or say well done to the team, because it's really nice to hear some of the great feedback we're getting. And with that, I will hand back to Corey. Thank you.
There's a cheap shout out because it's like two people on the security team. I see what you did there. But yes, go sign up for the all hands and the PSF event so that because there's a lot of things that happen in the back of on planning with respect to like us booking venues and hotels and all this stuff and putting down deposits and working with these people, and they want numbers or like soft numbers. And so the faster we get those things done, the more the better place we can get. So keep that in mind when you're postponing your booking and travel, and at least like commitment to going. That being said, I need to do it myself, so I'll take my own advice. I mean, I'm like doing the all hands, so you know I'm coming. Okay, so it's yeah. Thanks, JB. Appreciate it. Up next, I'll even bring on my nice little town hall. I changed this recently. You can find this. You can find all the town halls today, at least. I don't know if we're going to change this based on what we're about to talk about on Logos-Network. You can see it at the top, kind of barely, if you want to look at it. Logos-Network.notion.site. We'll have a list of all the town halls. So if I just click on this, you can see like just a list of all the town halls. This is a public page. You can open up any one of these individual town halls and view them publicly. So you can watch as I, at the last minute, fill in all the details here. For those who are outside the IFT, for the links that don't have access, you'll get to no access. Go to the Notion site within the IFT, and you'll be able to access that type of stuff. But yeah, so you can view all this stuff. But have this out. Let's see. Before we get into some of the presentations, one of the IFT announcements we have is like the last internal discussion we had was a discussion from Jared, a presentation from Jared on the, I guess, announcement of the Logos launch strategy. So like how we plan to launch quote unquote Logos as a network and as a project and as a cultural movement. And that was just a presentation form with all of the details being still reviewed in within the document that followed it. That review is done. You can go look at it in the no access link for those who are outside. This is an internal document. Please don't share it because it's not finalized and subject to change. We will derive a bunch of documents from this that go through their own like public review, like public communications review. So this is the raw details of what we have so far, with everything like all the additional details, stuff like that refer to execution and all the cool, fun details and how it pertains to you in subsequent things. So go check it out. A lot of detail there. If you had questions, which many of you had in the Notion form, this document should answer a good portion of those things. If they don't, ask more questions. I'm going through those. I'm getting people to answer them. Please keep asking questions. The more you ask questions, the better the clarity of the ultimate documentation and understanding of the organization becomes. I listen to those questions. I go find answers. I get people to answer them. I'll update documents. Please keep doing it. That being said, go check it out. A lot of reading there. I'll also disperse that through all the different channels so that people get access to it, or at least like see it in their everyday work. Presentations. So I had been doing, just as a preface here, I had been doing this process of going through all the various resources that I know that are available manually and updating it and making these pages so that I have some like compendium of what has happened over the course of the organization, at least like publicly, every couple of weeks. And Claire from the infrastructure team was a wonderful person and created a new resource for me, which I will let her talk about.
Thank you. So I'm Claire from the BI/infra team, and we've been building this website, which is basically a place where you can find monthly and weekly reports of what's been happening within IFT lately. So how this is working is basically we're pulling data from 4 different sources for now. So you have the blog posts from all the different websites from last month. Then you have the forum posts. So we only keeping the first forum post on each code topic, not considering like answers, etc. So we have forum posts from Logos, Status, and VAC. Then you have YouTube videos that have been published during the last months, and you can like preview them. And lastly, we have the releases from the different projects. So here we can know that like last month we had some releases in Status. So here you have the weekly reports and the monthly. So that's basically it. So in the About section, you have more information about what we have. So as Corey said, first it was meant to help him prepare for the town halls, but it can also be helpful for comms team if they want to find like some recent data, and also like for anyone who wants to know what's happening in IFT lately. So I can post the link in the. I'm posting the link here, and I'm also posting the link of the GitHub repo that is associated with this project. And I'd appreciate feedback on this. Like if you think there is anything missing, any sources, any data source, or maybe anything that we can make better, like visually, for example, you can reach out to me, to my team, or just post an issue on the GitHub repo. That would be appreciated, so we can make this useful to everyone. Thank you, and that's it for me.
Nice. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it. This is not something I asked for. I love the fact that you just decided to do it and help me out in the process of just manually going through this. It is something that could be automated. I just never got around to asking for it or doing it. So like, thank you again for taking that initiative. And I will be using it and I'll be sharing it. And hopefully we can build it such that everyone uses it and refers to it as like a, hey, what's happened in the past couple of weeks or during this week of the IFT. So thanks again.
Welcome.
Next, we have Igor. Igor presented the concept, the plan, a proposal for reshaping the backend of status such that it can be more streamlined and useful for a myriad of other development processes. And over the past few months, him and his team have been doing that, like exactly that, which is a lot of work, which is why I imagine he gave the shout out that he did. So he wants to come on. They've made some significant progress on this and gotten to some good parts. So now's the time to start sharing. So here we are. Igor, we're going to give you the presentation first and then take it away.
Great. Thank you, Corey. Hi, I'm Igor from Status Desktop team. Indeed, there was a refactoring architectural proposal that we made half year ago. But before I go into that, I'll just quick summary. What is Status Backend for those who's just passing by for some reason? So Status Backend is anything that's like backend related for Status Desktop and mobile unified app. So it's messaging protocol, wallets and market related things, accounts management, all the persistence for all the data, and many other client oriented features. Keep in mind that's what Status Backend is providing. So going to the refactoring, of course, I'm not going to show everything that we've done, right? But I'll just show some of the highlights that happened in the past 6 months. So first of all, we have dropped Status Go, our own Ethereum fork. So we are now with the upstream, which is amazing, I believe, because we were, I think, a few years behind the latest Go Ethereum release. So yeah, we've done that. Congratulations, to us. One more thing related to Go Ethereum is, this is not as important, but we're not registering our services into Go Ethereum anymore. So we're just even less using Go Ethereum at the moment, which is also a good thing. Next coming on stage is the Wallet SDK. So that now lives in a separate repository. So the main goal of our refactoring and our architecture thing is modularization, right? So we want things to be reusable, usable as well, but reusable as a separate parts. And Wallet SDK is one of the things. It's alive. You can go and use it. It's much simpler to use than the whole big Status Go with its legacy code. Wallet SDK is right there. If you've noted, there's a link in the bottom of the slide, of each slide. If you're interested, I don't know, you can remember it and copy it to your browser. Next big module is a messaging facade. So messaging is one of the modules that we want to extract. Before, it was quite a convoluted part of Status Go. So the first stage here was to hide it all behind a facade with a specific API. So Patrick has done that, and now he's untangling parts inside that making them reusable. Some of them already are. Next thing on stage, and the last one in this list, that's nightly benchmarks. So we are now running benchmarks each night. They are quite simple, nothing super fancy, but they already allow us to see some RAM or CPU usage changes or network usage change, bandwidth changes, as well as like threads count and coroutines count. That's nice. We have already seen, for example, minus 10 megabytes of RAM usage after stopping registering services in the Go Ethereum RPC server. 10 megabytes might sound like nothing, but it's about 15% of the usage. So that's nice. We have also seen increase like 15 megabytes of RAM back, but we're working to fix that soon. So speaking of the benchmarks, I will go to the next part of my presentation. How was this possible to implement? So the benchmarks are implemented in Python, and this was possible because we have, like, I think about a year ago, we started implementing a lot of tests in Python, automated tests that will run Status Go as a separate binary and test it with its API exposed to HTTP. So by doing that, we have unintentionally built a Python SDK for Status backend. So, and I wanted to show what it is and what you can do with it. Of course, the main thing you want to do with this is to write tests for Status backend, and that's what we're doing. But it can be used for a variety of other things, and I'm just going to show you, for example, what. So what does it provide? Obviously, it provides access to this whole Status API. It allows us to spawn Docker containers with the Status backend on demand. So that's very nice to have in tests. Obviously, you don't need to like run a binary. You just try and write Status backend in Python, and boom, you have Status backend running in a Docker container encapsulated. You can spawn tens of them, and the next thing you can do is you can also run a local Waku network or Anvil, connect all of these containers through the same local Waku network, connect them to Anvil, and it's very simple to test anything really. Another thing it lets to do to benchmark it, what I mentioned already. So it has handles inside the Status backend. It provides like RAM memory usage. Also, because you're spawning Docker containers from Python, you have handles to Python, to the Docker as well. So with Docker API, you can measure like CPU, RAM, network again, which is great. And some other features like, for example, deploy contracts to Anvil right from Python here. So that's a big thing. And let me go to show how it's done. It's simple as that, right? So you just import Status backend, you give it a URL. If you give it a URL, we assume you're running it locally, and there is a port. So starting from this backend dot anything, you can access API. If you don't provide the URL, it will attempt to spawn a Docker container. Simple as that. So a few simple examples here. So here's an example of joining a community, right? You can parse a shared URL that you have from somewhere and then send a request to join community. If you don't have a community, you can create one right inside Python. It's simple. Same as like obviously sending messages or like wallet features like check account balance or something like that. You can also, you can do plenty of stuff, of course. And you have a low level access to the API, or you have like high level access where we have already grouped the methods into services and define the arguments for each method. So a bit of a showtime. Well, this GIF obviously don't works, but it says showtime. So I'm gonna share my screen now. Oh, I stop sharing?
Yeah, you had it there. I was going to switch it over for you.
Yes, sorry.
There
There it is. Thank you. So let me start with a different thing first. So I will have. So here I will just run a status backend with a certain port. There it is, running and listening. What I will do, I will manually do everything that I've just shown, right? Just to show how simple it is. Obviously, we want to import the backend, and we want to connect to it using this URL. Done. We have the backend. What we want to do with it, well, we want to initialize. That's the first method you do. In response, you get the list of accounts that already exist in this directory. I know there is one account that I created for this town hall. So I'm going to log into this account. I'm just going to need a key UID of this and the password, which is very simple. Please don't steal my account. See, no error. So I'm gonna, just in case, call the wait for login method, which will ensure that we receive the signals from the backend. There it is. Now we can start the messenger service. We can start the wallet service. Simple as that. We can see there's a lot of logs running in the backend that we've connected to. What can we do now? Well, for example, let's check how many peers do we have connected, which is going to be important for my next part of the demo. Well, we have 19, which is good, right? We can update it. We already have 24. We can also check, like, go to settings service and check the settings of this account that we have. Of course, we can modify the settings, but yeah, just to show how simple it is to run it and connect to it. So now let me go to the second part of the presentation of this demonstration. So I have yesterday implemented a very simple bot that we will test now. So it's just 91 lines of code. It was very simple to write, but let's take a look what it does, right? So we connect to a backend. I call high-level method start with account, which is called Townhall bot. I give it a password. I also give it an image for this account. If the account exists, we'll just log in. If it doesn't, it will create it. I will also generate a profile for QR code, and I will show it to you soon. And then we're just waiting for messages on this backend, and we'll process them, and that's how we'll communicate with the bot, right? And I'm running the bot locally, but you will be able to connect to it because it's decentralized. So we're going to play with it now. Here's the QR code, if you are willing to try to do it. Obviously, you need to open your status account and a status desktop app and scan it if you're on mobile, and if you're not, I am going to share a URL now. So here's the URL. I'm going to put it into YouTube. So that's the URL of this bot. And Corey, I will just swap my screen to a different one now, if that's fine.
Yeah, you do you. I'm gonna grab that URL from the other one and put it on a QR code in StreamYard for others. Just gotta keep up.
That'd be amazing. But just in case, there it is right here on the screen. If you can put my other window back to the stream. Thank you. So I have already added this bot to a contact, but if you haven't, well, you can go here, you can paste the link and send the contact request. As soon as you do, it will automatically accept the contact request. So we can see it here when we're processing the message. If we receive a contact request, well, we just automatically accept it. It's very simple to do in Python. So So I've done that. If we go back, let's see what we can do. If you just type something, right, it will just echo it to you, back to you. And I hope it works. So I can see the bot received the message. And I hope in a moment we should get back an echo from the bot.
I'm not seeing the URL you posted.
So yeah, obviously sending a message, replying to a message is very simple. But for some reason, I don't receive the message back from the bots. Well, that's a pity. Let's try to send something else. I know something else you can do is, there's not many features I've implemented, but it's echo. It's solve some math. For example, you can write solve 2 plus 3. It will reply to you, will the result 5? I hope it will. I think Waco network is overloaded. Corey?
Can you send me the URL? It didn't go through YouTube chat, so I'll put it up on a QR code. See if people can join.
Yep, I will share it there.
You've got somebody. All right, cool. Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, and meanwhile, we received a reply from the bot, right? So it can do math, which is nice. Oh, I see. I have accepted a contact request from somebody, so we can hope somebody's testing it as well right now. And we have received back the echo as well. So one more thing that it can do, it can check the balance of some account. For example, let's see the balance of Vitalik account. Hopefully we'll get it. I can see 3 contact requests in this demonstration. Yes. Yeah, I think it's just the network is a bit overloaded, but that's why it's quite slow. So, of course, I'm not saying this is like what bots should do, or this is the Python SDKs you should use for bots. I'm just showing how simple it is to do things. It's very simple to check a balance account. It's very simple to send a message, to send a reply to a message, to join a community or anything. You can add bots to your community, for example, to ban users automatically when they send some words that are not supposed to be used in this community, right? You can do a lot of things, and the opportunity is yours. We just give the tools. I did not receive a balance, though I can clearly see in the logs that the bot sent it. So I guess in a few seconds it will arrive. But that's really all I wanted to share today. Oh, there it is. We can see that Vitalik has quite some money on his account. Yep, that's all I wanted to show. Thank you for your attention.
Oh, is that it?
Questions? Yeah, that's it really. You didn't want to have a mic for too long.
That's awesome, man. Can you explain like how you quote unquote accidentally created the Python SDK, and in the process of that, through that process, why do we have any confidence it's going to be maintained as development of the status backend continues? Like, how do we know that SDK will stay in parity with the capabilities of the backend?
Well, it is in the same repository, right? So, and it runs on each pull request. So whenever you're changing the code or the Python SDK, it will hopefully be catched. Any changes will be catched by the tests. So, of course, we don't have all the functionality covered in the SDK yet, but whatever is covered, it will not get broken. It should not. It is a great thing. I think in the last year, the coverage with the functional test we implemented with this Python SDK is like 35%. That's what we've reached, which from 0 to 35 is amazing. And it continues to increase thanks to VOC QA team, and the developers started to write tests themselves as well. We deliberately chose Python to have, like, we could have written the same test in Go, for example, right? which if you think would make more sense because it's the state the backend is in Go. But we deliberately chose Python as a separate language because, well, first of all, tests are usually written in Python because Python lets you do a lot of things. But also, we make sure that we don't tie to the language, to the original implementation of status Go, right? So whenever you change something in status Go, you should think of how the clients of this API will be affected by your change. And obviously, tests should not be changed automatically because you change something in the API. So they should catch the changes of the API.
Mm-hmm. That's really nice. What do you expect to happen next? Where do you go from here on both like the development of the status backend, and what would you like to see with people playing around with like the happenstance peripheral utilities like the Python SDK?
Well, first of all, I can see people using Go Wallet SDK because it's already there and people can use it. Oh, Jonathan hijacking this demo. But yeah, I just received from a message from Joe, but sorry, Joe, we're not, we are streaming it again, sorry. So yes, Go Wallet SDK is the first thing that people can use. It is, I think, Yuri already tried to use it in Logos Core with C bindings. It's amazing. Messaging module is the second thing that I would like people to use as separate things. Again, we are making not just big modules like messaging. We also want even small parts of it, like encryption level of the protocol to be reused, to be reusable. And then maybe somebody wants to implement their own messenger using the same protocol, right? Same as Signal share their specifications for their protocols. Python SDK, first of all, of course, I hope people will write more and more tests for status backend. But I can see people implementing bots just like I did yesterday in the evening, because it's pretty simple and you get it decentralized. You can run it somewhere, you can host it somewhere on your server, you can host it locally. You don't even need a public IP address for it, right? And then you can send anything. You can connect your home infrastructure and send updates about lights turning on in your house to the messenger on your phone. And it's pretty simple to implement.
Yeah, just thinking about injecting anything, like say you run a Home Assistant, injecting any of that message stuff, or you run an Nimbus node, injecting that messages easily into status if you want. I think about other Python-related SDKs in the Web3 industry, like Silverback, which is like an automation framework for Python. Using all of that, creating trader bots, and then use notification system for the status instead of Telegram or some other chat messenger system.
Yep, exactly. And that's, I would like people to use that. I think many people use Telegram because it has a nice bot API, for example. It's simple to implement a bot there and they can get notifications from there to their messenger. But you can do it with Status as well already. Even if Python SDK is still a growing up baby, you can already use it. You can already do things.
I think just exploration and playing with the back end is a great start on like the types of things you can build with a status backend that allows you to have access to a bunch of things on your phone or your desktop or whatever. Like that alone is an interesting way to like just start exploring. And if the performance isn't quite there through the current SDK, you know that it can be done and you can start pushing for it in the event that it's like something people want.
Yeah. One more thing, of course, you can implement something using the same API directly in Go, right? If you just go get status Go, but it's a bit messy, the API there. So what we're describing in Python SDK is much cleaner. So we only describe things that are actually usable. So legacy doesn't go there, which is nice. I see Seed is saying that we should run a control node in the same way. Yes, exactly. So basically, status backend allows you to run status Go somewhere else, right? And connect to it. It separates the front end UI from the backend. You can actually run status desktop independently of status backend and connect to them with HTTP. So you can run status backend somewhere in your infrastructure and open status desktop locally. Control node for communities could be done in the very same way. And I think we will do this at some point.
Yeah, I like that a lot, especially for like as an administrator of a community, being able to run that on something that is more reliable of an infrastructure, such that they in the event the admin still has to carry the weight of some of the community, through like the current torrenting text archival stuff like that. You can run it in the infrastructure that's appropriate for that, as opposed to like I need to leave my desktop on forever, and just to make sure my community runs appropriately. Having that option allows for a lot more reliability and usability for these things.
Yes. And at the same time, it will be nice to be able to use the same UI to control your community.
Yeah.
So that's where you just cut the rope and split the parts.
Love that. Awesome work. I very much look forward to the continuation of this and all of the interesting experiments people play with this and still call it status, right? That's the kind of fun part about this, is like people get to build all of these things and it's all still status, which is where you get to kind of explore. So thanks again.
Yes. Thank you.
Let's see here. Well, that was fun. We have quite a bit of time left in the allotted hour. I guess I can get rid of the QR code so you guys aren't trying to mess with Igor still. There were not a lot of articles over the past 4 weeks. As I went through the news site let me find the right page here. Here we go. So I went through the news site that Claire had made. This was the weekly one. So the last one, she just made this. So the last thing that we have is the last weekly. So it doesn't have all the things from the past 4 weeks. And the monthly hasn't caught up yet. So we still have all the month of September and just this past week of October. And there were still quite a few things left. So as we continue using this, as opposed to what I'm doing manually, we'll see how that difference makes. So with this difference, I caught a lot of things that haven't been released yet, or I guess were released but weren't caught in the IFT Weekly. And I wanted to go through a few of them. So this first one I thought was very informative for us. Logos has been pushing privacy initiatives lately and had this large-scale hackathon with Tor. And there are a number of tracks that paid out some good amount of money for the participants. And they announced the winners, and I think they're all pretty neat. So let's see, the RealFi hack winners. So we had the Resilient Activist Technology track. ASH was a peer-to-peer coordination tool. And I think if you don't want to listen to me rant about this, these are all posted in the Logos forums. So go check them out. If not, you can check out this article on press.logos.co and click on the links on exploring each individual project. But ASH was a peer-to-peer coordination tool for offline coordination with maps, so like a private map coordination for activists, right? So it allowed you to download maps and then coordinate around those maps, like setting specific types of activity on the maps in a private way through Tor and Waku. So that was a really interesting way to allow people to coordinate in a censorship-resistant way, leveraging Waku and Tor. Communify was a censorship-resistant coordination community finance tool designed for groups organizing under pressure. So this one was a Flutter client that allowed people to connect to Tor clients, I think on a mobile app, for sending transfers using Noster. And this one, it was Noster and not Waku. And let's see. Most of the relays are federated. So providing resources via Tor. Use the that's just like a EURE stablecoins. I don't know what that is. I'm going to say stablecoin attached to the euro and account abstraction with Noster and the Gnosis network. So it was nice that we had applications that weren't tied to the Logos stack, but still pushing in the privacy space. It's always nice to be able to not constrain hackathons to only a single technology, but to be a larger cause. And this is an example of something like that. The Logos and Tor privacy infrastructure track, shielded micropay was an interesting, or hidden payment channels was a way to do payment channels over Railgun, so that you can, and I think the POC here allows them to do like shielded payment channels for things like RPC endpoints. And so if you're running like a private RPC, you can then ask people for payments in a privacy preserving way, so that you can kind of justify running the infrastructure for others. So it's a nice POC for showing how you can implement private payment channels over Railgun and Tor. Tohaku was a Ethereum wallet built on the Ambire wallet. So this is effectively a proxy for routing an RPC endpoint through Tor, so that as you're engaging with an RPC, you're shielding all the metadata associated with what you're asking for, accounts and where they're coming from, and so on and so forth. Because so that way, like, you can engage with a blockchain in a privacy preserving way, as opposed to if you're using a light client and not running full nodes yourself, you're still able to engage with the chain in a way in which the RPC provider can extract all the information in your queries, right? So they proxy that through anonymized networks, in this particular case, Tor versus NIM. And next up, they have additional endeavors for continuing this privacy in practice initiative from Logos and engaging community members and developers to build privacy technology that solves problems today with technology we have today versus the technology we're trying to build via Logos. So go check that one out. And then there's a number of articles which definitely go check out, which I'm not going to go through at this time. You have the first Berlin Circle from Logos. The status team actually announced that they put out a blog, I think it was like yesterday, 28th, 3 days ago, around the like how to pronounce, say this, put in a closure code base for mobile into Status Legacy, and then introducing and publishing the first mobile application built from the Status desktop code base and a migration path from one to the other. So we're actually publishing the work that has come from the unification of the code bases, the modularization of the backend, all of that work that's been happening since the all hands, and producing the same, like, different implementations from the same code base and a migration path from what we're now calling legacy status, which is the closure code base, into the new Qt code base. So that's really exciting to see. I very much look forward to migrating everything over to that new mobile code base and the pace of feature development from status once that's done. So congratulations on that one. There's a blog post that is a part of the news feed that you can read all about how to do that, where to go, what to expect, what's coming up. Let's see. Frank posted a really good post on the VAC forum on why a web SDK is critical for Logos adoption. So as we plan the Logos launch and strategize on how we handle ecosystem development and a quality developer experience and capturing users and how we target them, Frank makes a case for why he thinks the web SDK is imperative for that. So go check it out, send your comments, give feedback, rally around him, tell him he's stupid, whatever you feel. And then some other ones, introducing reliable channel API. We're getting some good contributions from people who are external to the IFT within the Logos forums around everything that we're doing here, nation state, like network states, the idea of the Logos stack, privacy, all these things. So like we're already getting into the zeitgeist and getting external contributors to the effort that Logos is having. So go check that out. I'm really happy to see that. And yeah, that's it for today. I'll be back in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, catch me in anywhere on Discord or Status or wherever. If it's Townhall related, if you want to do a demo, please let me know. I would like to showcase you. I want to see everything that everybody is doing, and I want to share that with everybody so they know how it fits into the grand scheme of things. Put it in the Townhall discussions channel within Discord, and see you soon.